Yo, I'm actually pretty surprised, like positively. There's still so many people here, and I can only contribute that like it must be a super awesome day, and of course also to the guest of this panel here. Yeah, so the topic is unlocking Bitcoin payment standards, because if we look at Lightning today, so we have payment rails that are instant, that are globally, that are low cost. And if we add also the capability of like permissionless payments, then I think there's one category of use cases that stands out where there's a great fit, which is payments in apps, payments between apps and users, and as we have already learned today, this afternoon, also payments between even autonomous agents, for example, right? But if we look at the ecosystem today, then there are like roughly 40 Lightning wallets, and there are roughly 40, 50 real good Bitcoin Lightning apps, right? So, and if you look at other ecosystems, so recent numbers, for example, from DebbRadar, show there are 4,000 active dApps on Ethereum today. Like that's 100 times more than the number of Bitcoin apps. You can say, okay, payments is just a subcategory there, but it's a different scale, right? And I think one thing that contributed to this growth in other ecosystems are open standards like Wallet Connect or EIP 1193, for example. And in Bitcoin and the Lightning ecosystem, we actually have similar open standards. It started with WebLN from Joule, for example, LNC, and since 2 years also Nostr Wallet Connect. And yeah, I'm super happy now that I can welcome Evan from Zeus here to the panel, and EK from Second News, who will talk about their experience building on these open standards. So yeah, big applause to them.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, for the start, can you just introduce yourself and what are you building?
So, hi, I'm EK from Second News, and we're building something like Reddit, but with Bitcoin. And we're using Nostr Wallet Connect, so you can bring your own wallet like Zeus. Okay.
Hey all, my name's Evan Kaloudis. I'm the founder of Zeus, primarily a self-custodial Lightning wallet, and it's got NWC built into it.
And why did you do that? And which other like open standards did you actually explore that are similar to Nostr Wallet?
Oh man,
Connect?
So Zeus first and foremost started as a remote connection app. So being able to get to your Lightning node has had its challenges over the years since we built this thing starting in 2019. So you either had to have your node hosted up in a cloud service where you could hit it over ClearNet, or you had to have Tor set up, and everyone knows how unreliable Tor can be if you've worked with it long enough. So we had a lot of nightmare cases there with the user saying, your app's broken, I can't connect. It's like, no, it's just Tor. We implemented some other connection methods like Lightning Node Connect, which is for LND nodes that the Lightning Labs team built, which is great when it works. It's really fully featured, but it can be a little finicky at times. And yeah, Nostr Wallet Connect has been like a really great one that we implemented it as more platforms, especially as AlbiHub went and implemented and championed it. And just been working fantastic. It might not be as fully featured as some other connection methods, but it's snappy, it's reliable, and it's powerful, especially as the ecosystem, the apps that support it grows. So we're super excited. Right now, today, you can use it as a client. So if your node has Nostr Wallet Connect on it, like an AlbiHub node, you can use Zeus as the remote controller for it. But in a near future release of Zeus, you're also going to be able to use it the other way around, where you're going to be able to connect your Zeus wallet remotely to other NWC applications. For example, you'll be able to take your Zeus wallet and connect it directly to a Damus or an Amethyst and start zapping with your Zeus balance directly to those apps. So we're super excited about that.
Cool. What problem does like if we look at the wallet use case where like sort of SUSE acts as the NWC server, what problem does an open standard like NWC solve for you in this case, or especially for your users?
Well, making that connection to your node, it's tricky, right? So your node is either exposed to the ClearNet, which is not great, especially if you're hosting it at home and you have a router, like total security nightmare. You're dealing with unreliable connection methods like Tor. You're either, in other cases, you could be using something like a WireGuard sort of VPN, which sort of some might consider network malware. And for us, Nostr Wallet Connect just made sense. Like, we're already talking on Nostr for these other interactions on our wallet. Like, we use it for these attestations, for our somewhat controversial Zaplocker Lightning address implementation, but also for contacts in Nostr. And we were just seeing all these different ways that Nostr was turbocharging our wallet and adding this new functionality. So we already had the tools to talk on Nostr, and just adding the connection method was a no-brainer. No added dependencies, really good security, and works reliably, which is the most important part. So sort of a perfect fix. Yeah. That's
like the wallet perspective. So you're more like the app perspective that you can bring in. Like, why did you? I think you also did try WebLN, LNC, Nostr Wallet Connect. Like, what's your learning there?
Yeah, I can definitely say Nostr Wallet Connect was simpler than Lightning Node Connect, also because it's not limited to LND. So you can wrap anything with Nostr Wallet Connect. And specifically with Lightning Node Connect, I noticed that if you have like multiple tabs open, then they try to reuse the connection, and there are some issues with that. Like also like users reported issues. So for us, it's like an easier way to get wallets from wherever they are hosted, like mobile, like SUSE, to make payments without us, like without being custodial. Like, so we don't have to like have our own wallet. We can just tell users, here, if your wallet supports Nostr Wallet Connect, you can just connect via that.
And why is it important for you, like, to not touch user funds?
Yeah, we don't want to touch user funds because that would make us custodial and liable. Like, not only laws or regulation, also like when we get hacked or something. Like, we just don't want to deal with that if we don't have to.
And what was a big challenge for you, like when you integrated these open standards, like from a developer perspective, like also maybe for other people who build on these standards, can you give them some advice?
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely recommend reading the spec properly. I remember when it was very early, Nostr Wallet Connect just came out. Everybody was really excited, like it's still exciting. But at the time, I think I just looked at other implementations and I was like, okay, I got it. And then later, when we were testing with more wallets, I think I was just testing with Albi at the time. Ben the Carman had to show me, hey, you split the permission string by space, not by some other character. And that's why it failed to connect with Mutiny Wallet. But there was like small issues like that. Like, you can easily solve them just by making sure you implement the spec properly. But also with other, like when someone else already implemented the spec, like it's easy to just also support their tiny little thing. So like, does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Well, maybe a question to both of you. Like, where do users actually struggle to use this way of using apps and wallets?
Yeah, maybe that was specific to our use case, because we also want to support receiving while the user is not looking at their, like they don't have to have Stacker News open to receive. So that means we have to store the credentials to receive on the server, but these credentials should only be able to receive, and they need to be in plain text. so we can request invoices from their wallet. But the credentials to send, they should not be stored on our server in plain text. We store them encrypted and the device decrypted. So it was a bit hard sometimes to explain like why is that the case, because I think they are used to just pasting one string into the client. I think most Nostr clients just use it for sending. And there is a Lightning address included, so you can use that for receiving. We also started doing that just when they give us a Nostr Wallet Connect string, we see it has a Lightning address, and we just use that. So that makes it easier. I think when I implemented Nostr Wallet Connect, maybe that didn't exist, like this small parameter to include the Lightning address. So I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, now it's cool with the Lightning address included.
Yeah. How about Sus?
Oh yeah, I mean, Nostr Wallet Connect is really exciting because it's implementation agnostic, I would say, right? Like we sort of developed like all these different standards, and all the APIs are naturally different from LND to Core Lightning to LND Hub or whatever else you're connecting. So the fact that the calls had been abstracted away and you don't necessarily know what kind of backend on it is super exciting. But then, also the prospect that, we could potentially add more functionality on top of it too.
Can you give an example?
So right now, I think NWC really thrives in being so simple. But yeah, we could totally see the opportunity for a whole bunch of new functionality built on top of it beyond the send receive, the check activity. I think it's very easy for us to strap Bolt 12 payments onto it, and I think there are active efforts to do that. If we wanted to, we could probably add the ability to do channel management, open channels, set fees, manage your whole node, whether it be LND, LB Hub, LDK, CLN, whatever. Like that could all be abstracted away. And the cool thing is that the wallet author would only have to write all that code once, which is pretty nice. So yeah, it's very exciting. It would be really cool to see how it evolves. And yeah, for the end user, it's just like a great experience. Like you could provide them with a QR code, they scan it, hit save, and then you're off to the races. You have a remote connection to your Lightning wallet.
But I'm curious here in your personal opinion. You said one strength is like the simplicity of the protocol.
Right. Right. It's an interesting tension to explore.
Yeah. What would you say? Like additions like Bolt 12, should we go for it or not?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Bolt 12 has a whole bunch of privacy ads, and if we add it to NWC, it would help proliferate its usage. So yeah, that's for sure. I think there's some question marks about some of the more complex functionality, but I think Bolt 12 is a no-brainer. Yeah.
There is another proposal for on-chain payments, for example. So I know from a Bitcoin exchange that they would like to let their users stacking sats directly into their on-chain wallet, send or connect via Nostr Wallet Connect, for example. So that's a very new use case that would come to the ecosystem somehow, right? But then it adds complexity to the protocol, which might then also slow down the adoption.
For sure. It add more complexity in adding that functionality, but if it was written into the spec and there was one way to implement that interface into a wallet, it could have some real value add. But, there's a lot of engineering hours still that need to be put there. So it's just going to be interesting to see what gets prioritized, what we get to say, hey, pump the brakes on.
EK, what do you think are the biggest risks of further adoption of an open standard like Nostr Wallet Connect? Like what could prevent it? What could slow it down?
Maybe if something better shows up, but so far not sure that will be the case. Like, can you beat how easy it is to connect to a wallet wherever it is hosted, like through the Nostr relays? Does that answer the question?
No, definitely. So, like a bit more open question here, like what also going forward, like what's an interesting use case beyond tipping that you see, because that's, I think, you see Nostr Wallet Connect working very well when you connect your wallet to a Nostr client application where you zap people around. Like, do you see more, or would you like to see more, and what could that be?
Yeah, I think it's also used for subscriptions because you can set a budget. So any service that just wants to pull funds from a wallet can, yes, ask the user to approve a budget for a specific period, like day, month, or yeah, whatever their use case is.
You know what I want to see NWC implemented in Podcast 2.0 player? Do we have one yet? I don't think we do. But whoever does that first, I'm switching my podcast player to that right away. Connect to my Lightning node, zap the creators. And I think that's going to be the next use case that really thrives, right? Any platform where you interact with creators and you're paying them, beyond just the Nostr thing, I think Podcast 2.0 and video streaming. So I can go watch, whatever these video stream. I'm going to go watch, what's his name, Speed. When Speed gets on Bitcoin, I want to be able to plug into his platform with NWC and send him 100 Satoshis every time he, does a backflip or something.
Yeah, definitely. I personally would like to see NWC added to Rumble.
Rumble would be great.
Because it's owned by Tether, but they keep building their own wallet in there, and they said it takes another 2 months. I'm not so sure if it take the same time if they add like one of these open standards here. No.
Right.
No. Yo, cool. So what would you say, one more question, then we open it up to the audience. If someone wants to start looking into these open standards, Nostr Wallet Connect, where should they start doing so?
I think you guys did a great job on the doc site, nwc.dev, right? Great resources. You can basically, it's a simple protocol. You could basically write an implementation yourself if you know how to develop on Nostr. Otherwise, there's a couple of libraries, I believe, that are pretty good, like Nostr Tools, it's got built in. And there's stuff for several other languages. I think there's a Golang. Right. There might be Rust. I didn't take a look at that. But yeah, any good protocol you want to get rolling, make sure the docs are good, make sure the tooling is good and mature. And from there, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I think I would just add, if you understand Nostr on the basic layer, then you also understand Nostr Wallet Connect. That makes it quite easy.
Cool. Yo,
any questions from the audience? In that case, please, let's thank our astounding panel, Moritz and Co.